edging trap. And when I say edging, I mean dopamine. I mean all these constant little hits of dopamine. I mean going on your phone and just scrolling, always getting stimulation, always looking at content. You know, you're eating all this food, all this processed food, all this sugary food that we have here in America, and it's giving us stimulation, it's giving us dopamine. I'm talking about looking at the porn, looking at the digital cheeks, and that's giving you so much overstimulation. I'm talking about drinking all the time or smoking weed every day. That's giving you overstimulation. We're so overstimulated. We've got way too much dopamine, right? Too much of anything is a bad thing. And we have so much excess dopamine nowadays that we're constantly on edge, right? We're constantly in the sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight state that makes us really anxious, makes us really like cracked out. You know, we're just kind of looking around like not able to focus, not able to sit down because we're on high alert because our body thinks that something is wrong, but really it's just because we're constantly being stimulated all the time. And when you're constantly stimulated and you're overstimulated, you're living in this overstimulated state. Now, again, you're on edge, you're edging, right? With dopamine, you're edged out and you're not able to relax. You're not able to focus. This is when inconsistency comes in. The reason I haven't been able to lose weight as fast as I want to is because I've been inconsistent. And I finally realized that I've been inconsistent because of too much overstimulation. When we're constantly overstimulated, we're constantly consuming, we can't focus. You can't do something difficult because we can get dopamine from real life. We can get dopamine from real healthy sources like exercise, being out in nature, meditating, interacting with other people, eating healthy food, you know, preparing and eating a good meal. But compared to porn, compared to weed, compared to sugary processed foods, compared to just doom scrolling, those four things that I just mentioned are so much more overstimulating that the natural healthy ways of getting dopamine, we can't even feel that. They feel understimulating. They feel like nothing is happening. This happened to me when I first lost my virginity and I couldn't even get it up. I couldn't even feel anything. I was so numb down there because I had desensitized myself because I'd watched so much porn and it was so overstimulating. And I was so used to having arousal, sexual arousal be connected to this brain rot, this blast of dopamine, this chemical nuke going off in my brain. But real sex, real intimacy, it's more subtle dopamine. It's more subtle pleasure. It's softer and then it builds up and it's like, you know, it's not just a big spike of dopamine. It's like subtle kind of like wave, but it just kind of keeps going and it lasts longer, you know? And it does ultimately feel better, but I couldn't even get hard. I couldn't even get it up because I was too cracked out. Again, I was too addicted to the porn, addicted to the dopamine that I couldn't even be present and feel the sensations in my own body. My own body was literally numb to the sensations. And eventually I was able to work through that and get over it. But it's safe to say that was super fucking embarrassing, right? Like it's your first time and you can't even get it up. It's like you feel like shit. You don't feel like a man. You don't feel good about yourself. So we need time off. We need time off from all this overstimulation. This is why I always talk about semen retention. The point of practicing semen retention is to stop consuming the porn. Stop consuming the OnlyFans. Stop going on Reddit and looking at all the NSFW subreddits. It's to bring your awareness and your attention back to your body. It's to stop being so overstimulated and allow yourself to heal, allow your dopamine receptors, allow your nervous system, allow your dick to literally heal and to get used to regular stimulation, get used to real life. Right? At first you might have the flat line and you don't really feel anything, but then eventually you start to get resensitized and re-aroused to natural stimulation. You start to feel pleasure just from going for a walk outside, just from hanging out with your friends. You know, you start to be able to focus more. Even like on your hobbies, you can't even do your hobbies when you're so overstimulated. Like even just sitting down to watch an anime or to play a game. Like I couldn't even do that for a while because it wasn't stimulating enough. So instead, I wanted to watch a show, but instead I had to have the show open and then I'm like scrolling on my phone while I'm watching because I needed more stimulation. My brain was so used to overstimulation that I couldn't focus on just what was happening in the show and I couldn't even really enjoy it. And then you sit there and you're wondering like, why isn't it the same as before? Why can't I enjoy all these things? It's because our dopamine receptors are so fried. It's like getting high and you just keep smoking, you keep smoking, you keep smoking. Eventually you need hella weed in order to hit the same high. Where Whereas at first you might have only needed a little bit of weed, right? You didn't need such strong like strains or whatever. And so now you need such a hard hit of the drug in order to get the same effect, in order to get the same high, that a lesser hit or even not using the drug, you feel shitty, right? You feel like it's nothing because you need so much, you need to be like amped up so much in order to just feel something. And so that's why when you try and quit porn, when you try and quit weed, that's when you have all these withdrawal symptoms, because you're feeling that lack of stimulation. Your brain and your body is now not used to the lack of stimulation, even though that's your natural state, right? We're not supposed to be overstimulated like this. That's your natural state, to just retain your energy, to just be present, to just get joy and pleasure from real life, from normal things. So by doing this, eventually you go through those withdrawal symptoms. You know, you're gonna have to deal with them. There's gonna be ups and downs. You're gonna kind of go back and forth for a while. Like you might have a streak of not watching porn or of not smoking or not drinking so much or whatever, and then you might relapse and you go back and you kind of have this back and forth battle. But eventually you start to spend more and more time in the healthier state, in the more present, peaceful state. You start to spend less and less time overstimulating yourself. You start to get more used to the subtle dopamine, the subtle pleasure, the subtle yet deeper, more powerful pleasure of real life, of real connection with yourself and with others. And that starts to feel better. And then you start to do that more. You start to go for walks more. You start to want to meditate. You start to want to do yoga. You start to want to eat fruit instead of eating like all this chocolate or all these cookies, right? Because you know that these things might not be as stimulating in the moment, but I feel better. I feel better when I eat healthier instead of eating the hyper processed foods. I feel better when I meditate instead of waking up and just going on my phone for hours. I feel better when I just retain my energy and I use all that energy to focus on building my physique or focus on building my business. I feel better when I do that instead of just watching porn and releasing it all and then feeling like shit afterwards. So you kind of have this back and forth, and eventually you get to a point where now I just want to be present. I don't even want to smoke weed anymore. I don't even want to drink anymore. I don't even want to do all this overstimulating stuff anymore because it doesn't feel good. And now you can just enjoy real life again. You can enjoy your hobbies again. You can actually focus. You can actually do difficult things. Now you can actually focus on building a good physique and actually pushing through the tough times when you're hungry, when you're tired, when you don't want to go to the gym, because you have the focus, you have the willpower. Your brain is not all fucked up from too much dopamine. Your brain's not all fried. So you can actually get pleasure from doing something difficult. You can actually go to the gym and do a hard workout and actually feel really good afterwards because you just did something that you didn't want to do. You're proud of yourself. You pushed yourself. You're being disciplined. You're being consistent, and you feel so good. And that feels way better than any brain rot, any doom scrolling ever could. But we have to get out of the edging trap. We have to get out of the dopamine trap first, right? We can't keep getting all these little hits, For me, I have quit porn, right? I have quit all the substances. I have quit, eating the sugary junk food, but I was still doom scrolling. I was still on my phone like all day. My screen time was like 7 to 9 hours a day. Like that was like my average for the week. Was like some weeks it would be lower, some weeks it would be higher. But that's like all day basically I'm on my phone, except for when I'm sleeping. And you just don't feel good. So even though I'm like quitting all these other habits, I'm still overstimulated. I'm still craving that, dopamine release, because overstimulation causes you to crave more overstimulation. It's like when you eat something sugary, you then crave more sugar, right? You watch porn and then you get the chaser effect and your brain wants to watch more because it just wants that hit of dopamine, because you're getting this easy dopamine without having to do anything. See, naturally, dopamine is supposed to be a reward for hard work. It's supposed to be a reward for going and approaching that girl that you're nervous to talk to. It's supposed to be a reward for going and building that business and working hard and making some money. It's supposed to be a reward for going to the gym and building a nice physique and putting in the work over multiple months. That's what dopamine is for. It's for that pleasure, that it's to motivate us to actually do difficult things and grow. But now we have so much access to easy dopamine, we don't have to do anything. We just sit there and see all the naked girls that we want. We could just sit here and like smoke as much weed as we want and just feel comfortable and feel relaxed, like everything's good, even though it's not. Even though we're just sitting there staring at a screen, we're just sitting there being complacent, and we're not actually living the life that we want to live. So this is how we start to overcome all the anxieties, all the fears, all the insecurities, because all of this dopamine and all of this, it's all escapism. It's all just distraction. It's distracting us from the hard work that we need to do. It's distracting us from facing our fears and actually living the life that we want to live. live and actually creating that dream reality for ourselves. It's stopping us from taking action, because then you feel like you're doing something. Your brain feels good. Oh, we just released, we must have had sex with a bunch of women, but no, you were actually just watching pixels on a screen. You were watching a video of her get smashed by some other dude. But your brain doesn't know the difference. It just knows like, oh, we released our seed and we released dopamine, so we must be procreating. We must be doing something, right? We must be taking action in life. And then so you feel good, so then you don't feel desire, you don't feel drive, you don't feel motivated to actually go out and approach women and talk to them and actually meet somebody. You don't feel motivation to actually go and build your physique or grow in your career or build your business or whatever your big goal is. You don't have any drive or desire to do that because you're just constantly sedated. You're docile. That's what all the dopamine does. It makes you feel relaxed, but too relaxed. And it's like, we shouldn't be relaxing right now. We have work to do. We have things we want to build. I'm wanting to build my physique. I'm trying to build this YouTube channel. I want to go and travel and learn all these languages and like all these other stuff. Just, all these different goals that I have. Just some are for fun, some are for money, some is passion project. It could be all these things. But the point is, I can't complete any of these goals if I'm just constantly cracked out on dopamine, if I'm just constantly on my phone, because then you're distracted. I was just thinking about that today. Like, I haven't really been on my phone that much today. And instead I woke up and I just meditated, I did yoga, I read a book, I ate breakfast, healthy breakfast with like eggs, sausage, some fruit. Like, then I just worked out, I did my cardio, incline treadmill, 9 incline, 2.5 speed, 20-pound weighted vest. And then I showered and everything. I did all that before like 10:30 in the morning. And it's like, you could get so much done. I feel like so many days where it's like, where did the time go? Why is this day moving so fast? But it's because we're spending so much time just on the phone. Like I was spending so much time just on YouTube or on like Reddit or something, like just mindlessly like looking at nonsense. Who cares? Like, what's even on there? Why am I even looking at this, right? I'm wasting so much time, wasting so many hours. And then look what happens when I don't do that. Look what happens when I actually allow myself some peace and quiet and just put the phone down, just put it on the table over there and don't touch it. Now I'm actually able to get shit done. Now it's like not even 11 o'clock and I'm already recording this video. I'm already just like getting all the things done that I wanted to do today. I'm just like crossing everything off the list and it's not even lunchtime yet. So we're really all capable of building and living our dream lives. We just have to stop the distractions. We just have to stop the escapism. We have to stop the dopamine edging. We have to stop constantly being on edge in this cracked out, edged out state. We're just like frazzled and anxious and tense. We need to be able to relax, right? I talk a lot about meditation and taking the deep breaths, and that helps you to relax. But if you're still constantly overstimulated, you're still on your phone all the time, you're still looking at the porn, you're still smoking all the time, like whatever your vice is that is overstimulating to you, if you're still doing that, like you can do all the deep breathing, you can do all the meditation you want, it's not going to help you. You could do all the exercise you want. Exercise is supposed to calm you down. You can sleep better, all the stuff that I talked about, it's not going to help you. If you're still on the phone, if you're still edged out on dopamine, like we got to cut that out. We need to make that commitment to ourselves first and foremost. That's really the only commitment that matters, is can we commit to ourselves? I want to be my best version. I want to do things that make me feel good. All the weed, the drinking, the porn, the sugar, the doom scrolling, none of that makes me feel good. I don't want it. I don't want this stuff in my life. Can we have that conversation honestly with ourselves? That's the conversation I've been having with myself lately. I don't want any of this stuff anymore. Some of the things I mentioned, I do. Some of the things I mentioned, I don't. But none of it feels good. Like long term. None of it is something that you want in your life at all, really. Maybe some of them in moderation, but other things like the porn, you don't want that at all. All the added sugars, processed junk foods, you don't really want any of that at all. It doesn't feel good, doesn't taste good. It's fake. We don't want all this fake artificial dopamine. We want real, natural, healthy dopamine, right? We want that steady, slow release of dopamine that just keeps going and keeps going. And it just feels good all the time instead of a quick spike and then crash and you feel really bad and you're just on this roller coaster, on this cycle. This roller coaster, this cycle is why you're inconsistent with your goals, why you can't accomplish anything, why you can't lose the weight. It's because you're just up and down like this. You're up and you're like sticking with it and then you get bored because you can't focus on anything. You can only stick to your diet for like 2-3 days and then you get bored and then you crash out and you DoorDash something and you eat a bunch of food. That's what I was doing for a while. That's what I was doing for like the past year or two, honestly. That's why my cut has been so slow, because I haven't been able to be consistent. I haven't been able to stick to it. I know exactly what I need to do, but it's all up here. Can you actually stick to it long enough to see results, or to see the results that you want to? I'm still aiming for at least 12% body fat. That's still the goal. And I know I'm going to accomplish it now because I understand how to be consistent now. I understand how to stick to the diet day in, day out. It's by not frying my brain with dopamine. It's by allowing myself to actually enjoy the process, to actually get pleasure from just eating the healthy food, from prepping the meals, from tracking my calories. You can get dopamine from all of that, from exercising daily, from going to sleep early, from getting good sleep and taking care of myself and being proud of myself that I'm being consistent. These are all healthy forms of dopamine. These are all healthy forms of real pleasure, but it's subtle, right? It's not overstimulating like the porn or the junk food. You might not notice it as much at first because it's so subtle and so soft. Just like when I was with that girl for the first time, right? I couldn't even get it up because the sensations were different. It wasn't so in my head. It was more so subtle sensations throughout my whole body, right? It was me connecting with another person and I wasn't used to that. It was a different kind of stimulation, but it's way more fulfilling and way deeper and lasts pretty much as long as you want because you can constantly be feeling good. When you're living in alignment with the version of yourself that you want to be, when you're living in alignment with your best self, you literally start to feel high on life. When you wake up and you're just doing all the things you said you want to do, you're doing all your healthy habits, you're doing all your routines, you're just getting shit done. You're not participating in any of the vices, any of the things that were holding you back. You just feel good. You feel proud of yourself. You look at yourself in the mirror and you're happy with the person that you are, the person that you're becoming. You're happy with your physique. You're happy with your face. You're happy with your energy and your vibrancy and just how you feel about life. You just feel good about yourself. And that's something that can't be faked. And it all, once again, stems from getting rid of the unnecessary excess dopamine that we just don't need in our lives. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value out of it, and I will talk to you all in the next one.